Some of the most difficult bosses in Elden Ring might struggle against Naruto and other powerful anime protagonists. In Elden Ring, players take on the role of the Tarnished, a mysterious warrior who travels the lands between in their quest to become the Elden Lord. Throughout the game, players level up their character and gain access to many magical powers and combat abilities. Players require these to defeat the numerous dangerous enemies they will encounter. The world of Elden Ring is brutal even to the most powerful characters, yet there are 9 characters who might fare better than the average player character. While certain bosses may seem overpowered, some of the most difficult bosses in Elden Ring might struggle against powerful anime protagonists. 10 Naruto's jutsu would be incredibly powerful in Elden Ring. Elden Ring allows for a vast number of strategies and tactics. Combining different abilities together is often a perfectly viable way of progressing through the game. As one of the most powerful shinobi ever, Naruto's martial arts and jutsu would almost make him overpowered in Elden Ring's world. In his earlier years, he may have had more of a struggle when facing down some of the game's boss monsters, as his close-range style could give him some trouble. By the time he reached his full power, however, few enemies would be able to last against the 7th Hokage for long. 9 Guts already feels like a character from the game. The dark fantasy world of Berserk has plenty of similarities to Elden Ring. Its iconic protagonist Guts would be just as much of a survivor in the lands between as he is in the manga and anime series. Guts' great strength would allow him to wield the most powerful colossal swords in Elden Ring. He could even wield the grafted blade greatsword, which is one of the strongest weapons. Not only that, but his utter refusal to die would grant him a massive advantage in a world where potential death is around every corner. 8. Edward Elric's alchemy would serve him well in the lands between. Sorceries in Elden Ring are incredibly useful, so any character with the ability to wield magic will have an easier time with things. With his considerable alchemy abilities, Fullmetal Alchemist's Edward Elric would be well suited to survival in the lands between. Beyond his prodigious skill with magic, Edward is also quite capable in physical combat. He can use his auto-mail arm sword and agility to great effect. If Elric were to find a summoning pool and call forth his brother Alphonse, the pair could take down even the strongest enemies the game has to offer. Eren Yeager's Titan form would give him a massive advantage. While he may not be the most skilled fighter in Attack on Titan, Eren Yeager is still a strong combatant. His use of his ODM gear would grant him a huge amount of mobility when taking on some of Elden Ring's larger bosses. His true power would be unleashed when he took on his Titan form. By no means invincible, his size and strength would have him on par with some of the most powerful enemies. The only one who may give him trouble would be Malenia, whose attacks and agility may give her the opportunity to reach a Titan's neck and end Eren for good. 6. Saber's skills with a blade would carry her with her incredible swordsmanship, mobility, and magical resistance. She would be able to make short work of almost any monster she came across. Her noble phantasm Excalibur is easily a match for some of the strongest swords available in the game. 5. Gon's incredible physical abilities grant him a huge advantage. Though he may only be 11 years old, Gon from Hunter x Hunter is more than capable of keeping himself alive even in a place as dangerous as the lands between. Throughout Hunter x Hunter, he has proven himself capable of taking on some of the strongest fighters in the world when he is at his peak power levels. It is not only Gon's strength and enhancements that would give him an advantage, but also his exceptional tactical abilities. Considering that, in his adult form, Gon may even be capable of defeating the incredibly powerful Miriam, it is safe to say he could tangle with even the most dangerous of Elden Ring's bosses. 4. Tanjiro's breathing techniques would give him the edge. As one of the most naturally talented members of the Demon Slayer Corps, Tanjiro Kamado is well suited to survive in even the worst circumstances. His skills with the sword and his mastery of breathing techniques would make him more than capable of taking on the multitude of monsters one might encounter in Elden Ring. In addition to his combat abilities, Tanjiro has faced down some of the most terrifying demons in the series, including the progenitor of them all, Muzan Kibutsuji. This experience would serve him well in the lands between, where he would come face to face with creatures just as monstrous as any he would face in the Demon Slayer series. 3. Akame's speed and sword skills would win out in battle. In Akame Georgia Kill The titular heroine is considered to be one of the most dangerous assassins in the world. Her physical abilities border on the supernatural, making her incredibly stealthy and capable of taking on strong opponents. Another advantage is that she wields the Tigu Murasum, a powerful sword that inflicts those struck with a lethal poison. The poison can kill a foe with a single cut, making it even more deadly than similar weapons one might find in Elden Ring, such as the Serpentbone Blade. 2. Aladdin may be a child, but his magic is powerful. As one of the most powerful magicians in the Magi series, Aladdin is incredibly capable. Despite his young age, what he may lack in physical capabilities, he more than makes up for with his skill at sorcery. With his elemental magic granting him plenty of offensive ability and his defensive board strong enough to keep him safe, Aladdin would fare well against any threat Elden Ring could throw at him. He also has a magical turban that turns into a flying carpet, allowing him to make a hasty retreat if necessary. 1. Asta's anti-magic abilities would be extremely useful. Asta from Black Clover may lack magic of his own, but his anti-magic abilities would give him a massive advantage over many types of enemies in Elden Ring. His skills with a sword are formidable enough to see him through most battles. The only unknown factor is just how well Asta's anti-magic would work against many of the bosses in Elden Ring. While many are undoubtedly magical creatures, many more seem to rely mostly on their overpowerful physical capabilities. This might push Asta to his limit if he could not rely on his ultimate trump card.